Hello everyone, I am Akshay of Data Science A section. My ATT Tech Talk topic of PDS Principles of Data Science is about a structured and unstructured data search. Structured for unstructured data. Structured is it is maintained in a clear and systematic manner. Unstructured is maintained in a different manner which is not organized and which is completely opposite for the structured manner. A structure for unstructured data sets. According to the IBM, the uh, global volume of data was predictable to reach and 35 zettabytes in 2020. And since it is increases daily, data scientists expect that the number will hit 135 zettabytes in 2025. Picture is this is 35 zettabytes holds approximately 1 trillion hours worth of movies. Will take 150 million years to watch all those movies. Those are mass same impressive figures that aren't they? They are here. Well, there are something even more impressive about the global data sphere and prevailing part of data, which is 80% or so it is unstructured. This means structured data only has about 20% of all generated information. In this article, you will get closer look at the structured versus unstructured data. Let's see what the difference between the two is and why you should know it in the first place. Also, we will help you understand how to handle each data type and what software tools are available for each purpose. Here's a comparison of structured and unstructured. Structured data stands for the information that is highly organized, factual, to point qualitative data warehouses, relational data types, several predetermined formats. Unstructured data does not have a predefined structure to and comes in all its diversity of form of qualitative data lakes and non-relational data types, a huge large formats. Data, Structured data stands for the information that is highly organized and factual point to point. It is usually comes in the form of letters and numbers and fit nicely into rows, columns of tables. Structured data commonly exists in tables similar to Excel files and Google Docs spreadsheets. Structured data does not have any predefined structure to it and comes it all its diversity of forms. The examples of unstructured data vary from imaginary and text files like PDF documents to the video audio files to new view. A structured data is often spoken as a qualitative data, meaning its objective and predefined nature allows us to easily count, measure, and express data in numbers. Unstructured alternately is called a qualitative data in the sense that has a subjective and interpretive nature. This data may be characterized depending on its characteristics and traits. What is structured data? So structured data is a type of data that is well organized and accurately formatted. This data exists in a format of relational data types, meaning the information is stored in tablets with rows and columns that are connected in a way. The structured data is arranged and recorded neatly so that it can be easily found and processed as a long data fits within the structure of RDMS. We can easily search the specific information and single out the relationship between in its pieces. Such data can be used in intended purpose. On the top of that, structure does not normally require much storage space. For authentical purpose, you can use data wars, NWS, and central data storage used by companies for data analysis and reporting. There is a special programming language used for handling relational data types and warehouse with called SQL, which stands for the Standard Query Language and developed back in 1970s by AMA. Structured data examples. The structured data is familiar to most of us. Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel files are the first thing that spring to the mind concerning structured data structure. This is compared with such as employee name, contact, zip codes, and addresses credit in the numbers. Here is an example which is written in the Excel sheet to get a detailed information. This is known as actually structured data, which is written in the number wise and order wise, which is clearly written, and you may not get confused by checking the data, birth, place, country, and date of purchase and amount of it. You can get a clear idea by just looking at it. What is unstructured? It makes sense that if the definition of structure that implies a neat organization of components in a predetermined manner, the definition of unstructured will be opposite. The piece of that such data aren't structured and predefined way. The meaning data is stored in its native formats. The thing with unstructured data is a traditional method that and tools can be used to analyze the processor it one of the way to manage the unstructured data is to opt a non-relational databases as known as no SQL. If there is a need to keep a data in a raw native formats of the further analysis and storage responsibilities called data lakes will be the way to go. A data lake is storage reciprocity or a system meant to store huge volume of data in its natural raw formats, taking into account of whole variety of file formats of unstructured data. It comes as no surprise that it makes up more than 80% of all data, gives these companies ignoring unstructured data left far behind as they didn't get enough valuable information. As an example, we take social media posts of a travel agency for all posts for the matter. Each post contains some metadata description for attributes like share or hashtags that can be qualified and structured. However, the posts themselves belong to the category tools analyze the both collect and insights of agencies of travel tours. An unstructured example of wide array of forms make up structured such as mail, text files, social media posts, videos, images, audio, sensor data, and so on. Now here is a comparison of the picture. Let's look into it. Data formats, new formats versus philothrall of format. Data structure is usually represented in the form of text and numbers. Its formats are standardized and user readable. The most common ones are CSV and XMs in the data model, and the data format has been determined in advance. Like unstructured like structured and structured formats are represented in a site of a different shapes and size, and unstructured doesn't have predefined data values. Look at the flowchart and get a brief explanation of predefined versus flexible. So this for analytical use of data lakes versus data warehouses. This is all about data lakes and this is all about data warehouses. Look at them very carefully to get an idea. Databases versus SQL databases, SQL versus no SQL. As we already mentioned, the structured data lives in the relational data types, also known as relational data types. The data is set in a table have a lot of rows, also recorded columns with labels denoting specific data types. By they are supposed to keep the configuration of data types, and columns makes up the scheme of database table. Relational database use SQL or structured query language to read the stored data and manipulate it. SQL syntax is similar to that of English language, providing the simplicity of writing, reading, and interpreting it. scheme and few to no relation. Speaking of that, speaking of databases of unstructured data is most suitable option for this type of data. So this type of data will be non-relational databases, also known as NoSQL databases. NoSQL stands for not only SQL. These databases have various data models and they store a data in a non-tabular way. The most common types of NoSQL data types are key value and document value and wide column. Such databases can process huge volume of data and deal with the higher user loads as they are quite flexible and scalable. In the NoSQL value, they are collection of data rather than tables. Documents may look like rows in tables. They don't use the same schema. It is possible to have a multiple documents and in one collection of relational data types. In case of search and analyzing the processes, look at this flowchart and get an overlighting of qualitative and quantitative data. Structured data management tools. Unstructured data is done. It is often classified as a qualitative data containing a subjective information that can't be handled using traditional method and software analytics tools. For instance, the qualitative data can flow from customer survey or social media feedback in the text form. To process the analyze and quantitative data, more cutting-edge analytic techniques are required, such as data stacking or investigation of large volume of data, splitting them into smaller items and stacking the variables with similar values into a single group. Data mining or the process detecting certain patterns, oddities and interaction in large sets to express possible outcomes in advanced tool technologies and data. These are the tools of Oracle data, structured data tools, clear-cut, highly organized essentials of the wide range of arrays. PostgreSQL and Java, Python, SQL database engines. Microsoft developers are the main prompt open source of the system which supports the synchronized hardware. Unstructured data rules, and as unstructured data comes in various shapes, sizes. It requires specifically designed tool to properly analyze, manipulate all these sensitivity. Finding a qualified data science team. Not only it is useful for understand the topic of data, but it is also crucial to figure out the relations of the data. Below to find the examples of the rules. Data teams handle data owning, and there is a flowchart of likely and unlikely data types, structured and unstructured data examples and use cases. Look at the structured and unstructured examples, have a glance and get an idea about it. Examples and examples. And it is a semi-structured data which gives the syntax of the code which is structured. Blurred line between the structured and unstructured data. I hope you all have got a brief explanation about structured and unstructured data types. Thank you.